Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I am going to be doing my top 10 favorite Criminal Minds episode, and this video was requested, so I am really excited to do it for you guys. Now, let me just say there are a lot of Criminal Minds episodes. I mean, we are currently on season 13, and there's about 22-ish episodes each season. Some have a little less, some have a little more, so that is a lot of videos. Episodes. But I did want to try and break it down to my top 10. Now, there are probably some that I am forgetting that I absolutely love, but as of right now, these were the ones that I could think of that I ranked from 1 to 10. And yes, so that is what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and without further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to start like how I did from my last video. I'm going to start from 10 and go all the way down to 1. And again, like I say in every video, my list of the episodes are on my phone, which is why I'm looking down at my phone. We're going to start with number 10. And my number 10 favorite episode of Criminal Minds is The Storm, which is the season 11 finale. That episode, I remember when I first watched it, it got me, it got my adrenaline going. I was just so, stressed the entire episode, but I loved it. It was such a good episode, and yeah, I just really, really loved it. Number 9 is Our Darkest Hour slash Longest Night. That was the season 5 finale and the season 6 premiere. I really loved that 2-part episode. That was with the Prince of Darkness, and that was really, the episode was based around Morgan and this girl Ellie, and I just really loved that relationship that we got to see, and I loved how much Morgan cared for this little girl, and he tried so hard to save her, and he did. That was also the episode where JJ gave her famous negotiation speech. And again, I said this in one of my other videos, but that was a big moment for her, and I really, really enjoyed that episode. Number 8 is The Performer, and that is season 5, episode 7. I don't know what it is about this episode. This one is kind of based on a vampire, and it's this guy who he is a performer, and his album The Liar is coming out, and he puts on this vampire persona that's the character that he plays at his shows, and the unsub is some crazy girl who worships him. So that episode is just really, really interesting, and it's one that I feel like I can never remember the name of the episode, but I always remember what happens, and then when I try to watch the episode and find it, I can never actually find it, but then I do, and I'm like, okay, great, and now I actually remember the name of the episode, but it took me a while. Number 7 is Entropy, which is season 11, episode 11. I feel like I am not alone when I say this, but this episode was amazing. I feel like so many people loved this episode, and I feel like it was a bit of a different one because the entire episode pretty much took place in a restaurant, and it was just Spence trying to go undercover, and then the unsub figures it out, and it was such a good episode, and I love seeing the team undercover because they don't ever really go undercover, and I think that that is such a cool thing. So I absolutely loved this episode, and I think that a lot of other people did too. Number 6 is Beautiful Disaster, and that is season 11, episode 18. And this one was pretty much based around Morgan. And this was his last episode, and it was just, a lot was happening in this episode, a lot. But it was beautiful, and I did this in my last video about my favorite scenes. There was just multiple scenes from this episode that I loved, but it was just a beautiful episode, and I feel like his exit, it was done very well, and I really, really enjoyed it. There was just so many team moments and the picture that JJ gives of like the whole team with him, Savannah, and the baby. Oh my gosh. And then that was when Spence found out that Morgan's son was named after him, and then that was when he was talking to Garcia, and I was just like, okay, this is too much for me to handle, because that like little talk between Morgan and Garcia was like heartbreaking. It was actually heartbreaking. Like, oh my gosh. I just love them and I miss them so much. But I do like how Morgan occasionally comes back to the show, like just for like a little like quick little appearance, and I really, really love that. So very thankful for that. Number 5 is In Heat, and that is season 3, episode 17. I watch this episode all the time and I like cry every time. This is finally the episode that JJ lets everyone know how she feels about Will and the fact that she's been dating Will forever. But I love it so, so much. It like breaks my heart like in the middle when she just keeps denying the fact that she's dating him and she just won't tell anybody. But I kind of understand why she does it. But I also understand why Will wants her to say something. And the very, very ending scene where she finally goes up to Will and is like, I'm sorry, like, it's not that, you know, I care what people think. She just doesn't want to get hurt. And oh my god, I think it's the cutest thing. And then Morgan, Spence, and Prentice are all like, finally. I thought she was never going to admit it. And they're like, what's it been, like a year? And I'm just like, I die every time. That is pure gold. That last scene is just gold. I love it. Number 4 is 200, which is season 9, episode 14. I remember watching that episode as it aired. And the episode before that. I remember seeing the preview first off for that episode, and I was like, are you joking me? We have to wait a week to figure out what happens to JJ. First off, something happens to JJ, and I could not handle that. But then secondly, we had to wait a week to figure out what happened. And then that whole episode, it like, being the JJ fan that I am, it like broke my heart. Like, I was like having anxiety watching that episode. I was like, please, just nobody hurt her. I can't do it. But like, that was such a good episode, and I loved that we got to find out what happened to JJ and what she was up to when she left in season 6. But every time I watch it, I cry as if I've never seen it before. But then again, I get very emotionally attached to TV shows, so I guess that's normal at this point. I also loved how they called Prentice to come help save JJ, and then they did the same thing for Prentice. They called JJ to come help save Emily, and I'm just like, friendship goals. Love it. Number 3 is JJ, which is season 6, episode 2. This episode was I actually watched it yesterday because there was a marathon on TV and they aired this episode, and this episode just gives me chills. Like, so many times throughout this episode, I am just like, wow, that was amazing. First off, that's JJ's exit episode, which, no, don't like it. But I love how helpful JJ was with the families. And I know that that was her job because she was the liaison. And other than being, like, she was just there to help families. But this one, I don't know what it was, but I loved this one. And especially the ending. When JJ went up to the mother and said, we found her, she's alive. I got chills. And I still do. I love that scene. That scene is beautiful, and it just shows all the hard work that JJ does and how much her job and what she does means to these families, and I love that. And also her very ending scene where she says goodbye to everyone and everyone is crying and then I'm crying, and I just it gets me every time. Like, I'm getting teary-eyed. And then her like speech at the very, very end, oh my goodness, oh, I'm getting chills. I just love, love, love that episode. It is so good, but yet so sad. Number 2 is the season 7 finale, Hit Run. So like technically it's not just the finale, it's like the one before that and the finale, but it's Hit and Run. I kind of just put them together because they're the same episode, they're just put into 2 different parts. Anyway, I love that episode. Okay, so it like messes with my head because JJ almost loses Will, and I could not imagine what would happen if Will like had died. And even though I know he doesn't, I still cry and get so like scared as if he is going to, but he doesn't. We're good. But Henry is so little in that episode, and he is so cute. And that scene where Will is like, he goes in and then Prentice and Morgan have to hold JJ back. She's like, what is he doing? And she's trying to run after him. And then they're like, no, you can't go in there, you have to let him go. And then she's like freaking out, and I'm like, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. But then he gets shot, so like technically no, it's not okay. But I loved, like, that episode just, I feel like it made JJ realize, like, crap, I love him, like, I'm not waiting any longer, like, we need to find him, and then she's like, ask me again. Oh my gosh, that scene. And then he's like, Jennifer Jerome, will you marry me? And she's like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, here come the tears, here they come. Oh my gosh, beautiful scene. And then the wedding, of course, was beautiful. But then that was also Emily's exit episode, so I'm like, a lot is happening. But it is beautiful, and it is one of those episodes that I can watch over and over and over and over again and never get tired of it. That was a lot. Okay. And lastly, my number 1 favorite Criminal Minds episode is, drum roll, it is Sick Day, which is season 12, episode 2. Is this really surprising that it is a JJ episode? No, not really, not at all. But yes, I absolutely love this episode. This episode was beautifully written, and it was beautifully portrayed. Okay, first things first, let's just talk about the story, I guess. That was, oh my goodness, that was such a beautiful story. It was so sad, and it was one of those episodes where they didn't save the victim. So that was really sad, but it was a beautiful story, and the way that Will tries to comfort JJ and gets her to talk about this because this is not good for her to keep to herself is amazing. And it was just such, it was a Will and JJ centered episode, which I loved. It's me. So, but it was just so beautifully written, and the way it was filmed, I loved how they went back and forth from Will and JJ talking in real time to the actual, like, event itself, and them finding out who the unsub is, going after the unsub, trying to save these kids, going to talk to the family. I loved how it went back and forth, and I know that some people don't like that, but I just thought that was really interesting because we don't normally get to see episodes like that, so I thought that that was amazing. Now, for the way that the story was portrayed. AJ Cook deserves all of the awards possible for her performance in that episode. The emotion that she pulled to put into JJ and everything. I can't even put it into words. It was so amazing, and that is the kind of actress I hope to be one day. Oh my goodness, this episode, I loved it. I really wish that I could tell her that in person. Like, AJ, amazing. I don't know what else to say. Like, and Josh did amazing as well. Like, the two of them together They had amazing chemistry, which they normally do. They always do. But I don't know what it was about this episode, but it was beautiful. This is another one that I can watch over and over and over again. Oh my goodness. Amazing job to the writers, the director, the producers, just everyone. AJ, Josh, every single person that worked on this episode. Amazing. Amazing. Absolutely love it. This is 100% my favorite episode of Criminal Minds. I think that was a lot of rambling. So that is going to be it for today's video. I really, really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed filming it. Comment down below if you have any of the same favorite episodes as I do, and if not, comment yours down below because I would love, again, to talk to you guys about it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, with that being said, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!